planes, you'll see some of them start with a C, some start with an N. The N airplanes are American registered. The C's are Canadian registered. Oops.
Okay, here we are again at Oshkosh EAA 2014. We're in the Reenactors World War II encampment at Oshkosh. They got quite an encampment, lots of tents, lots of hardware here, some guns, things like that. And we're here today with the commander. His name is
Frederick Karstead.
Frederick Karstead. And he's going to tell us a little bit more about kind of his role, what they do there, and what they're all about, and stuff like that. Okay, Frederick, we were talking earlier, and you said that you've been doing this for how long as a reactor?
Well, to do aviation, I've only been doing it since 2003.
Okay.
So that's what, 11 years.
Okay, so you've been doing it for 11 years.
But I was reenacting other periods before that.
Okay, okay. And you said you are Canadian born?
That's right, I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba.
Okay, and he does represent the Canadians here, but right now he's in British uniform, is that right?
That's right, I'm wearing a uniform of the Fleet Air Arm of the Royal Navy.
Okay.
Since every day within the encampment they pick a particular theme, so one day was Vietnam Vets Day, and then yesterday was Commonwealth Day. Today is Navy Day. So for that we brought out the Fleet Air Arm stuff, changed to the white ensign up there of the Royal Navy, and changed our squadron sign to one appropriate for the Fleet Air Arm. Most of the time though we do 417 City of Windsor Squadron of the Royal Canadian Air Force. They were the only Canadian fighter squadron that served with the Desert Air Force in North Africa, Sicily, and eventually Italy, and were there at the end of the war.
Okay, very good, very good. Now, how many reenactors do you think you have here at Oshkosh with you?
Total, I think we're around 60.
Right, and now will you do anything in any of the air shows this year?
Some people do. The only ones that I personally get to is this one, and I also do an event out in Nanton, Alberta, where they have the Bomber Command Museum, and they have a Lancaster there that they fire up all 4 Merlin engines late at night as a night startup, and then a special event dedication to veterans. This year it's the Great Escape that is being commemorated.
Yeah, I think we all know about that.
Yeah.
All right.
But other members of the reenactment community, some of them make significant air shows, especially if they're have lots that are sort of in the area where they live. For me, I have to travel 12 hours just to get here. So
oh my, it's you got a long distance.
and I'm driving because I'm carrying a tent.
You're right.
A fly,
you're carrying gear, lots of gear.
Carrying lots of gear.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, if you had a B-17, you could just put it in there and go.
I could, yeah.
Yes. Okay.
That would be nice.
Yeah. All right.
But this is our group along here, all of these sort of tan-colored tents.
Right.
That's all Commonwealth pattern.
Okay.
And then, of course, the rest is either United States Army Air Force, kind of going on there, and then we've got some parachute infantry, which we're in the corner.
Right.
So we get quite a variety. There's also some U.S. Navy flyers, people doing impressions for that, especially today since it's Navy Day.
Right. Now, do you have any Germans this year with you?
No Germans this year, although one of the fellows can do a German impression if he wanted to.
So he can switch over if he needs.
That's right.
He can switch sides, essentially.
Well, yes, yeah. I mean, a number of us have multiple impressions that we can do. I mean, I just focus on the Fleet Air Arm and the Royal Canadian Air Force, but some fellows can do, First World War flyer. There's one member of our group who actually has replica Sopwith Pup, which is just parked over in that direction. And so he's got the Royal Flying Corps uniform from the First World War. There's a fellow in the encampment who focuses on United States Navy, and he can do a First World War Navy flyers uniform, as well as right up into Korea.
Right.
So that's his main focus.
Very good. Well, I was talking to you earlier. You were saying you represent a certain squadron, and the reason you represent that certain squadron, maybe you could tell our folks the reason why it's important that you represent that squadron, what happened in there.
Well, the reason we do any of this is we're trying to keep the memory of the veterans alive.
Right.
Quite often when I'm at an event, the gear that I'm wearing will trigger a memory in a veteran who comes to visit. He'll see my parachute pack and tell me a story about something funny or odd that happened to him personally with his parachute pack, or his ditching whistle, or his Mae West, or some aspect like that.
Sure.
And I try to then take those stories and then pass them on to other visitors. And the idea is that every week we're losing more and more of our World War II veterans. All the First World War vets are gone.
Yes.
And so I see it as a job to make sure that those stories that aren't going to make it into the history books get passed on to the visitors who come,
right.
And so they can get a better appreciation of what those men and women went through in the service of their country 70 years ago.
Sure. You guys are living history.
Well, that's what we like to. That's what we like to call ourselves, living historians.
Yeah, yes. And now your rank, you represent.
I'm a sub-lieutenant of the Royal Navy.
Okay.
The A within my executive curl means that I'm aviation.
Yeah.
And the word was, for sailors aboard ship, if you see an officer with an A in the middle of his executive curl, don't pay any attention to him, because he knows nothing about running the ship.
But do we say lieutenant or do we say lieutenant? How do we say that?
Well, the Royal Navy and the Royal Canadian Navy and the Royal Air Force and so forth, and the Commonwealth is referred, for some reason the pronunciation is lieutenant.
Lieutenant.
Even though it's spelled lieutenant. I have no idea why,
yes.
But that's just the way it is.
Okay, very good. Well, this has been great. I think we got a lot of info, and great to meet you. You guys are doing a great job.
Well, thank you very much. It's been our pleasure.
Yeah.
And thanks for stopping by and taking the time to get this down on film.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Here we are at Oshkosh EAA 2014, and we're here in the Terrafuga booth with Carl Dietrich, CEO of Terrafuga. They have a flying car that they are marketing and selling to the general public. And I'm going to ask Carl a couple questions so he can tell us more about it. This is a really cool project and something that's really happening. Carl, how many of these cars do you have already sold?
Well, we've got pre-orders for about 100 of them right now. We haven't yet delivered anything. We're about a little less than 2 years from our first delivery. It's been a long development process. It's been in the works for about 8 years and a little less than 2 more years till we can ship.
Right. And I understand, what's it take to get in on the ground floor to buy one, money-wise?
Well, we're expecting a base price of $279,000. The aircraft is reserved with a $10,000 deposit to hold a place in line with your name on it.
Okay. Now, could you explain to them what it takes to maybe transition from the car to the plane mode and plane to the car mode?
Sure.
I'm sure a lot of them aren't familiar with that.
Sure, yeah. To transition between flying and driving, you've got to be stopped on the ground. The engine has to be shut down. You switch your key over to the mode that you want to go to. So if I was off, I'd switch it to wings or plane mode. And then I would enter in a personal identification number on a keypad. And that would open up an interlock, a solenoid interlock, which allows me to unlock the wings. And then I push a couple buttons on the console, and then the wings fold electrically or unfold, either way. And then once they're in position, you move the manual lever again to lock things in place. And then there's the solenoid interlock so you've got both electrical and mechanical interlocks.
It sounds pretty easy. It takes kind of the hard work out of it, doesn't it?
Well, that's the idea. We want it to be so, particularly when you go from plane mode to car mode, you don't even have to get out of the vehicle. It takes about 40 seconds to fold those wings up, kind of like putting the top down on a convertible.
Right. Well, very good. That's very cool, and sounds like it might be something that we take off in the future here for a lot of people. Now, I understand you can drive that on the road up to how many miles an hour?
Well, we've had it up to about 74 in a controlled test environment. Yeah, yeah.
This is something you can drive home and park in your garage.
That's right. Yeah, fit inside a standard construction single car garage.
That's very cool. Yeah. Now, behind us is a video of it, I understand, of flying last year at Oshkosh.
Yeah, this is the demo we did at Oshkosh last year. This is Phil Mateer, our test pilot. He's a retired Air Force test pilot. And you can see some of the maneuverability of the transition here. Flies like a normal light sport aircraft. We designed it to be really, really simple to fly. So it's stick, rudder, and throttle, that's it. There's no constant speed propeller, no retractable gear, no mixture control, no carb heat. There's not even flaps on this aircraft. Stick, rudder, throttle, that's it. Because we want to try to attract a lot of new people into aviation with this.
Yeah. Can you tell some of the basic specs on it, like the cruise speed,
sure.
What kind of engine, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we use the Rotax 912IS engine. It's a 100 horsepower engine that drives both the rear wheels on the ground or the propeller in airplane mode. You'll cruise at about 100 miles an hour in the air, and on the ground about 70 miles an hour.
Very good. Thank you, Carl. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, that's about it. Okay. So 45 degrees, make the follow and make her run. Just a touch faster. Yeah. Now just a touch. See how it's stopped? So yeah. I go on break for 30 minutes. This is what I get.